Welcome back to a new episode of The Bat Collector. Now, 2 episodes ago, I promised to get into something more than comics, but then Terrificon, Comic-Con happened and it was mostly comics. So, this episode, there's going to be 2 comics, but we're going to feature 2 other items that are not comics. We are going to start with the comics, though, because that is the bulk of my Batman collection. Now, these aren't really recent pickups. They were when I originally planned this episode, but then, adulting happened. But I added to the collection thanks to my local comic book shop, Legends of Superheroes, Batman Sword of Azrael #1, written by the legendary Dennis O'Neil with art from Joe Quesada, Kevin Nolan, Laverne Kindzierski, I'm probably saying that wrong, with art from Quesada and Nolan. Now, this book features the very first appearance of Jean-Paul Valley, aka Azrael. And while Azrael isn't really one of my favorite Bat family members, he's still a member of the Bat family. And to me, it's cool having his first appearance, especially since it's a first appearance that's not necessarily very expensive compared to other ones. Now, the second comic and last of this episode we're going to feature is Batman number 570, a CGC 9.4 that I picked up at an auction from mycomicshop.com. It was written by Bronwyn Carlton with art by Mike Deodato Jr., David Rauch, and Pamela Rambo, with a cover by Rodolfo DiMaggio. Now, other than the fact that I just did not have this issue in my collection, it was one of only 2 of the 500s that I'm missing out of my collection, but this is also considered the second in-continuity appearance by Harley Quinn. The first being the Batman Harley Quinn book with the legendary cover by Alex Ross, in continuity-wise. Her first appearance in comics, period, being Batman Adventures number 12, which goes for ridiculous money. But it's just cool for me to add one of only 2 500 issues from the original Batman run into the collection. I only need one left, it's Batman number 576. But as a fan of Harley Quinn, especially the current run by Stephanie Phillips, it is just really cool to have her second in-continuity appearance in comic books, and the fact that it's in the original Batman run is just yay. Okay, now we're going to feature some things that are not comics. I know, shocking! The first is Legos, because you are never, ever too old for Legos. If anyone ever tells you you're too old for Legos, that person should be out of your life. You don't need that kind of negativity. Now, I got the Batman Lego cowl for my birthday a few 2 years ago, a year ago. Maybe I think it was like a year ago. 410 pieces. It comes out to about 8.5 inches tall. It took me a couple hours to put together. You can actually click the link above. I posted a sped up version of me putting it together if you want to watch it. But it's one of 2 Lego Batman related things that I have, the other being the 89 Batmobile, which I will feature sometime soon. And I do definitely 100% want the 89 Batwing before it goes out of production at the end of this year. But the cowl is actually pretty detailed. It's very cool looking. It's very 89 Batman, which is probably the inspiration for it in general. But between the white eyes, the clear piece for the mouth, which kind of shows not really a mouth because there was no mouth, but it shows the empty part where the mouth would be. It's very detailed. Not quite as detailed as the Batmobile, which again I'll get into another time, but it's really cool. And the last piece I'm going to feature is a statue that when I heard it was up for pre-order, I immediately got onto Amazon and I pre-ordered it because it was limited to only 5,000 pieces. That being the Dark Knight's Metal Batman statue, inspired by Greg Capullo's design from the midnight release cover of Dark Knight's Metal #1, sculpted by Jonathan Matthews. It is 11.25 inches tall. It's pretty big. It's overall my biggest statue in terms of my Bat collection, and it is incredibly, incredibly detailed. From the blood on the axes, the blood on the Batsuit, the blood on his face, the torn up cape, the tears in the tights, the costume. It's also probably the most detailed statue I have in my collection. Eventually, I do want all the statues of the Dark Batman to go along with this statue. It's probably going to take a while because statues are expensive and I'm overall poor as shit. But eventually, I would love like a little display of all of them with this statue right in the middle and the Dark Batman like surrounding him. Well, that'll do it for this episode of The Bat Collector. I kind of made this one short and sweet. I think it's short and sweet. I'll find out when I edit it. But make sure to leave a like if you enjoyed. Subscribe for more videos of The Bat Collector, as well as reviews and eventually more gaming. And I'll see you next time.